Yesterday's Rainbow Crosswalk stunt at Pulse wasn't about victims or survivors, it was about political theater.
It's really hard for me to say I felt any other way but numb.
Darylise Torres survived the Pulse massacre and lost friends inside. She says if the city built a permanent memorial, painting over this crosswalk wouldn't be an issue.
While I do not condone it, I think it's horrible and despicable that the state is actually doing that. The fact that they're using polls is more to pursue a different agenda than what it actually should mean had we done things right in the first place.
Local politicians and another nonprofit, Equality Florida, seized the nightclub property and hijacked the narrative. Instead of focusing on the city's failure to build a memorial, or the way mothers of victims were kept off the city's memorial committee, now the conversation nationally is about crosswalk removal because it's some made-up form of state violence when the real violence has been emanating from Orlando City Hall since June 12, 2016. Patty Sheehan, Carlos Guillermo Smith are using this moment to try to salvage their wrecked reputations. The truth? They've done very little for any of us. Patty even helped cover up the fact that Pulse was an illegal death trap. And this isn't new. Remember the One Pulse Foundation? The same thing happened. Politicians and nonprofits banded together and had total control over the nightclub, created a phony national narrative, and silenced survivors. They waved their rainbow flags and their marketing slogans proclaiming, "We will not let hate win," while victims who demanded justice were dismissed and called troublemakers and agitators. Carlos, Patty, Buddy, all of them, they helped build that monster through their support of Barbara Poma and her now disgraced and dissolved nonprofit. Because at the time, it was the politically expedient thing to do. Until it wasn't. And now they're at it again. Equality Florida's executive director, Nadine Smith, takes home nearly $400,000 a year. Of course, Equality Florida wants to use Pulse and exploit its victims by turning the crosswalk removal spectacle into a massive fundraising scheme. A rally at our crime scene means more donations to cover her salary, turning the state's fascist homophobia into a story about victims of the deadliest mass shooting, one of the deadliest mass shootings in the country, is just a way for them to score free exposure, attention, and publicity, and it worked. Let's be real. That rainbow crosswalk, it was painted in 2017 when these were trending across the country. And someone with good intentions petitioned the city to paint it. But let's be clear, Pulse victims didn't ask for it, and the crosswalks were never part of our fight. And the crosswalk wasn't intended to be a memorial. It doesn't do anything to represent the 49 victims. A dignified public memorial park, on the other hand, has always been part of our fight. And 9.5 years later, that still hasn't happened. And this is because these very politicians failed us and silenced us over and over again. And now they're on cameras. A crosswalk does not memorialize the 49. And it's not part of the memorial because a permanent memorial hasn't been built. And don't believe for a second that DeSantis or anyone else has the power to erase you by removing a crosswalk. This is liberal fear-mongering, and it will get us nowhere. We were here before the first rainbow crosswalk was ever painted, and we're still here now that the state of Florida has painted over them. Our voices cannot be silenced or erased. But our lives can be taken and exploited, as we have seen happen in Orlando, no thanks to these clowns. No politician, though, will ever silence us, and that includes Mayor Buddy Dyer and Commissioner Patty Sheehan, as well as all those employed in the office of the mayor who have desperately tried to silence opposition and stop the facts from getting out. And they've lied and misled the public and gaslit the media. So don't get manipulated by politicians and nonprofits. This is not the fight. The real fight is grassroots. If you really want change, support our fight for accountability, for independent investigations, for term limits, and maybe even for reparations for the survivors and families because of what they've been put through by these folks for the past 9.5 years. The harm that these very politicians have caused is unfucking fathomable. The crosswalk is just paint. At this point, it's not even that, it's dollar store sidewalk chalk. Justice is what we're after. We are concerned about actual life and death issues that actually stole people from this world. No one died at that crosswalk. The real issue is just feet away, still standing, neglected, deteriorating, a disgrace, a stain on the city, and a hole in our hearts. Now, if you want a rainbow crosswalk, you go out there with your chalk and you go to town. We support you. But don't make this about erasing the 49 victims. That is what the city has done for the past 9.5 years by supporting a fraud, silencing survivors, keeping mothers of victims off the memorial committee, and continuing to fail to complete a dignified, fiscally responsible memorial park. We aren't afraid of being erased by a juvenile political stunt. We have seen so much worse with our own eyes. If you are more concerned about a crosswalk than the actual victims and survivors of Pulse, then you have lost your moral compass. Don't be a pawn to these political games. Join us and ignore them.